Johnny the Greek here. Happy 2015 to all you cats and gals out there in baseball card land. Let's get to the baseball card porn. I'm going to show you some stuff I've acquired over the past year or so. It's a variety of things, of baseball cards, some books, and some other items. I'm going to start with this bad boy here. This is a replica 1968 Oakland A's cap. This is nice. It's from the American Needle product line and the Cooperstown collection, of course. They make fantastic stuff. Wasn't cheap, but good thing, nice things cost, as they say. So, right on to the cards here. This is really kind of fun. I love these old players, great players. Hall of Famer here, Jimmie Foxx, and this is a looks like a colorized photograph with the 1986 Topps styling, which I think is super. I love those cards. These cards, I've come across these in the 25-cent bin at my local card store. Here's Luis Aparicio. What do they call these? The action-packed thing, and it's got sort of a bas relief to it. I came across this. I have this Commons box. Came across this card. This is a great guy, great character in the game of baseball. Smokey Burgess was a catcher, very stout, stocky guy. In his, real active playing days, he was known as a very good catcher and a guy who could hit. Later on in his career, he became kind of an overweight. He looked like kind of a joke, but boy, could he hit. They said he could wake up, fall out of bed being able to hit. And one of the game's great all-time characters. I encourage everyone to check out more stories on Smokey Burgess. Again, here's kind of another old reproduction. These are fun. Who doesn't like having a nice Ty Cobb card as long as the graphics design is good? I like these Topps lineage cards. I've got a few of these. I've got one of McCovey and this Whitey Ford. Again, to me, it's all about graphic design and the type of photography. This is kind of fun. This is a Carl Yastrzemski 2009 Goodwin's Champion from Upper Deck. Again, I think artwork is dicey because art is so subjective, but I think that's nice artwork there. Again, tripping through my old Commons box, came across this Bobby Thompson, of course, the giant hero of the 1954 season. At least I think it was 54. I could have that wrong. Anyhow, we're getting toward the end of his career there. It looks a little bit ignominious, no hat on. Obviously had just been traded. Recently picked up this Tony Perez card. And I forget what year this is from, but always great to have Tony Perez. Any new Tony Perez into the PC is a welcome addition. I like these Golden Moments cards featuring, players that I recall from when I was collecting baseball cards in the 60s. Red Schoendienst was really sort of a star in the 50s and became a manager of the St. Louis Cardinals in the 60s. I'm going to share one of my favorite cards. This is actually the very card I pulled out of the pack. This is the 65 set, so this would have been probably sometime April, May-ish of 1960, 65, I believe, or 66. Anyhow, love that Reds uniform. Of course, it's Pete Rose. I believe the photograph was taken at Shea Stadium. Fun reproduction card that never really existed. Joe Morgan. I know this is a top style from the 50s. Lots of fun. Love Joe Morgan. Now I'd like to tell a little Al Kaline story, really more of a Bill Spaceman Lee story. Spaceman said, when you pitched against the Tigers, and of course Kaline was on the team, it was very tough. If Kaline didn't swing at the ball, this was obviously deep into the 60s. Kaline was very established as one of the game's superstars, and all around great guys. Has a reputation of being a really nice cat. Bill Lee would say, the umpires would say, Mr. Kaline will tell you when it's a strike by doubling off the wall. This is a lot of fun. This is a mini, the 72, just to compare the sizes here. Let's get that in there. Oh, well, so much for my comparison. Anyhow, the 72, Topps design with Lou Gehrig, nice colorized piece. Probably looks like, judging from the stadium, Comiskey Park in Chicago. And here's more artwork. This is from the Topps The Art of Collecting series. Again, I probably picked this up in the 25-cent box at my local card store, which I really dig that 25 cents box. Here's kind of a fun card I think I pulled out of there. This is the Ted Williams card company. This is really kind of an oddball card, but I love the player and the story. This is Tony Stone. Let me read you about Tony Stone. Batted right through right. Stone's undeniable ability and resilient personality helped her become the first and most prominent female baseball player in sports history. And she first attracted notice while performing at second base for local American Legion and Catholic League teams in St. Paul, Minnesota. She turned professional with the San Francisco Sea Lions of the West Coast Negro Baseball Association in 1949, then jumped to the New Orleans Creoles of the Negro Texas League before joining the Indianapolis Clowns of the Negro American League. According to How News Bureau, Stone appeared in 107 American League games for the Clowns in 1953 and the Kansas City Monarchs in 1954, where she recorded 145 at-bats, 32 hits, 13 runs, and hit .220. And that is Tony Stone wearing an Indianapolis Clowns uniform. I scored a couple of 3D cards this particular season. This one, I believe, is from 1970. It is a Roberto Clemente card. Scored it off of eBay, about $10. I won it in the bid. Here's what the back looks like. Love this card. Very nice. I'm a big Roberto Clemente fan, so as you all know if you know anything about me. And then this was a card I didn't have. This is from the 71 3D Kellogg's. Willie Mays. Obviously not in super good condition. I think I paid $8.15 for this rascal, not including shipping, of course. There's the back. Nice to add a Mays to the PC. And some other pieces here. I'm a big fan of Topps Supers, so I was able to pick these up from the card shop this year. I forget what I paid for them. It wasn't a whole lot. The great Cuban fastballer Camilo Pascual, Minnesota Twins from the early 60s. Of course, these are all from 64. Big Jim Gentile, power hitter. Great story about Jim Gentile growing up in San Francisco. Supposedly hit a ball so far out of Big Rec Park, which is a park inside of Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Here's the back of the card. And he hit one out of the park that went, supposedly, these stories are all apocryphal. There's no real fact. I'd love to ask Gentile someday about this. Hit a ball out of the park. I mean, getting it out had to have been a 450-foot blast. It traveled across a busy boulevard and smashed into a Shell gas station sign across the street. Again, who knows if it's true, but it's a great story. Dick Ellsworth had a couple of very good years as a starting pitcher for the Chicago Cubs in the 1960s. And one of my favorite players of the 1960s, Dick Groat, also one of the very few Major League Baseball players who was good enough to play in the NBA. Very good basketball player. And underneath that hat was a very bald pate. And if you see pictures of Dick Groat without his hat in the 60s, you wonder who the heck it is. But Dick Groat obviously was an MVP in 1960 and was a heck of an all-around player. This is an insert. I like this. I think this is taking an older style card. Don't ask me what year. I'm not as hip as a lot of you guys are on this stuff. Denny McLain, of course, the last guy to win 31 games. And Denny's very active on Facebook, which is kind of fun. All right, let me get into some books. Great books to recommend. This was given to me by a friend of mine, a librarian, and I can't say enough. Cheater's Guide to Baseball, Learn How to Hurl a Spitball, Cork a Bat, Steal a Sign. And really, to me, a book, success is based on two things. Number one, writing style, of course. Subject matter, let's go to three things. And how well have they done their research? And this is really well done. I love the stories about Gaylord Perry and his spitball and corked bats. They go into depth on, of course, Norm Cash corking his bat and winning a batting title in 1961. Let's keep on rolling here. Next book, I love the Seattle Pilots, the one-year wonder. team in 1969. Of course, Jim Bouton wrote all about them in Ball 4. Becoming Big League, this book is about how Seattle attracted the pilots, the 1 year where they were there, and why they ended up leaving. Meticulously researched and written by a guy named Bill Mullins. Excellent if you're into that sort of thing. I picked up this book. I'm doing a documentary right now. My next subject is Arnold Haino, and there are two really nice articles in here. Arnold Haino wrote for Sport Magazine for 20 to 25 years, 1955 to 1980, and Arnold traveled with the Philadelphia Phillies for a week as they were going down the stretch in 1964 when they had their famous collapse and ended up losing to the St. Louis Cardinals. There's also a terrific essay in here by Ray Robinson about Jim Bunning's perfect game against the New York Mets in the 1964 season. I may have talked about this already, but this is one of the most iconic books in baseball. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Day in the Bleachers, written by Arnold Haino. And it's Arnold's account of Game 1 of the 1954 World Series, where, of course, Willie Mays made his iconic catch. And I got this book for Christmas. It's awesome. Who's on Worst? The lousiest players, biggest cheaters, saddest goats, and other anti-heroes and heroes in baseball history. Absolutely very enjoyable. Recommend that. That covers players from all eras. I have a lot of interest in baseball history, of course. And I love the Montreal Expos. And this is supposedly the definitive book on the Expos. And I'm looking forward to reading it. I've read just little snippets of it here and there. I like what I've seen. My latest movie, as some of you may or may not know, I am a baseball documentarian. I make baseball documentaries. My latest is this one, The Day the World Series Stopped, and it is my account of the 1989 World Series, Game 3. I happened to go to the game. I had a video camera with me, a still camera. Big Giants fan, so it was the first World Series game I'd ever gone to, of course. A horrific earthquake broke out. Some say it was 7.1, some say it was 6.9. In any event, it really takes you back in time, and it puts you in the shoes of a typical fan who was at the game and what happened before, during, and after the earthquake. It's kind of a three-act story because I went to the game. I stayed in San Francisco the intervening 10 days because there was a big delay to take care of the injured and those who had died in terrible collapses of structures and freeways and so forth. So I went back to Game 3. And so this is a 25th anniversary recollection of what it was like to be there at that particular point in time. It's the only time a World Series has been stopped other than something by the weather. And it was the first major earthquake to be caught live on national television. And other than that, thank you very much for watching and have a great 2015. Keep collecting those baseball cards, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.